Well, what's up, everybody? I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes to get into the chat. And then we're going to look at some of the best midweek matchups coming up today. Some other stuff that we're hearing around college baseball. Some really good matchups today as well. Miami #1. What's up, Canes? Yeah, you would say that. You would say that. We do have one of our own has sources giving him an indication of who may be getting the job at Mississippi State. We'll talk about that. Again, speculation, but it's from a pretty good source from what I've heard. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to tease you guys with that. But there's actually a lot of really solid midweek matchups this week. Buck, what's up? It's Kyle time. Yep, we're back. Sorry, yeah, I was really busy yesterday. I had no time to do a stream. And today, man, it's been nonstop today as well. But got enough time to squeeze this in. Got to get ready for our playoff series tomorrow. JD Arteaga to Mississippi State. No, that's not it. Hey, don't give Canes a heart attack, Buck. BA, what's up, man? It's been a while. Hey, Kyle, if a college coach is at your kid's game and it's likely he's there to see your kid play, should you as a parent wait for him to come approach you or the kid if he is indeed interested? Yeah, I think you wait. You just don't want to give off any indication that you're kind of the overbearing parent, right? And I've talked to you guys about this. We've watched videos about how like coaches will tell you like they've run away from players based on the parents. And I'm not saying, like there's nothing wrong with going up and like starting a conversation, but you also need to be careful. Like, if they're watching a 27, they can't talk to anybody, right? They can't talk to the parent. They can't talk to the player. If your kid's a 26, I think you still want to kind of just be cool. If they want to, they will come up and talk to you. So again, I think you just play it cool. You just don't want to give off any impression that, man, I'm gonna have to deal with this parent for 3 or 4 years or however long. So I think that's usually the best way to handle it. Generally speaking, like the coach will want to get to know the parents as well. So at some point, like if they are interested in your son, like they will want to talk to you as well. Because again, obviously, you're gonna be a big part of the decision making process. Depending on how much the school is, if they get a scholarship, all of that. But I think you just kind of play it chill. Buck Canes was ready to ship him out 3 weeks ago. I know. Oh, how the times have tabled, Buck, my son actually had a high school coach watching his game this weekend. First time for that, although he's been to a lot of tryouts and such before. Thankfully, he performed. Nice. Yeah, so we'll get started here in a second, dude. I literally have so little time. I had to get a sandwich. I had to get a sandwich, and I'm eating on stream. I'm getting my 10 grams of creatine in. 10 grams of creatine. But it's not like the guy who we've heard could be, again, in quotes, from the source of one of our guys said pretty much a done deal. And this is, from what I'm told, this is a guy who's very close to that coach. So, and the words pretty much a done deal are in quotes. So we'll see. We'll see. And again, that could be totally, it could be totally not right. But college baseball heating up. Let's go. Yeah, Cap. 100%. It's crunch time now for a lot of teams. And even like, here's the deal, man. Done deal already? Could they have done that many interviews? Who knows, dude? I mean, it's been, what, a week and a half? So I don't know. Or a week and a half. Canes, what does 10 grams of creatine do for you? Actually, dude, I'm taking 20 grams a day. I take 10 in the morning. Because if I take 20 at a time, I end up on the toilet like an hour later. Because creatine can do that. Some people can handle more than 10 grams at a time, but I don't seem to be able to. So I do 10 grams in the morning and I do 10 grams at night. And creatine is the most, probably like the one tier 1 supplement out there. It's the most highly studied supplement. It has shown in, you know, all kinds of double-blind placebo studies to give you massive benefits, not only for muscle building, but there's a lot of studies coming out about how good it is for your brain. And for it's if you don't get a lot of sleep, it almost eliminates sleep deprivation symptoms. Very good for cognitive performance. So like if your son or you have a big, like, let's say at your job, you have a big presentation in a couple of days, start doing 10 grams in the morning, 10 grams at night. That creatine can saturate, because you need to take more for the cognitive effects. Because of the blood-brain barrier, it's hard for the creatine to kind of get into the brain. But creatine is a supplement that's shown to also be, is now being used in treatment for elderly patients with Alzheimer's and dementia. And so I've been taking it, dude. I will tell you this. I am not sponsored by any creatine supplement. But the first day I did 20 grams, I did 10 in the morning, 10 at night. The next morning, I woke up and I felt like I had the best sleep of my life. And I was like, there was no mental, I don't know how to explain it. Like you hear it all the time in like ads, like, oh, like mental fog or brain fog. I just felt like my wife was like, you're annoying this morning. Like, why are you so awake? And I was like, I don't know. The only thing different is I took 20 grams of creatine today. And it was just like, I was so alert and I don't know, just sharp. Like that's the only way I can describe it. This year feels more uncertain across the top 16 hosts than in years past. Usually you have dominant 3 and 5, which are locks. Yeah, I agree, Buck. I mean, even think of Clemson. Like Clemson 2 weeks ago was like, you know, a national seed for sure. And now, like, dude, if they have 2 series left, and let's say they just like lose a couple series or they lose one series, they may be outside of the national host. So I think you're right. There's so many teams that, you know, based on the final 2 conference weekends, could be a national seed, could not even be a host. Like, it's really, I think you're right. I mean, it seems like the hosting can, like for example, Georgia Tech's not a host right now. But if they win both their remaining series in the ACC and they're 19-11, they probably are a host. I mean, if you're 19-11 in the ACC, you almost have to be a host. So there's just so many teams. I mean, Miami is on knocking on the door of being a host. There's so many teams that are in limbo of where they're going to be seated. It doesn't taste good. I have 2 of them. Yeah, you just kind of have to chug it, man. Like that's the only thing I can say. I don't like creatine's always kind of like, if you get the powder form, it's always pretty chalky. And that's why I just chug it. And I try to mix it with something like that tastes pretty good and just down it. And now I'm done. So I'm a little late today getting my first 10 grams. But no, tell me, like, seriously, Canes, I like I said, split it up. Take 10 in the morning. Take 10, like, after dinner or something. And just tell me how you feel. And maybe, and I've been taking creatine for a while. I definitely was not taking 20. I was taking 5 to 10 grams. There's actually a lot of studies that show there's even from your muscle gain benefit up to 25 grams a day, which isn't a lot. Don't get me wrong, but so I'm testing it out. I'm guinea pigging it right now, and I'll tell you guys how I feel. But I'll tell you, the first day I was on 20, there was a noticeable difference when I woke up in the morning. I woke up in the morning and it was got out of bed super easy, and I was just sharp as a tack right away in the morning. And I have 2 kids under 3 years old, or 3 years old and under, so usually the sleep at night is not great. All right, let's look at some of these midweek matchups. Now that I've went on my rant about creatine. Any creatine brands out there, if you want to sponsor the channel, give me an affiliate link. What is the rule for being able to redshirt in college baseball? Is there a certain number of at-bats or innings pitched before you can redshirt? Typically in baseball, it's 30 to 33% of the season if you've played in 30 to 30% of the games. Now I know that does change. It kind of changes every once in a while, but that's typically what it is, Zach. It's 30% of the season. Barks, they even have creatine gummies that work great too. Yeah, my wife likes those. You get capsules. Yeah, I mean, whichever way you can get it. Do you still feel the brain fog difference, or has it gone off? No, I feel it. Like I said, man, I wake up in the morning, and again, creatine is the most studied supplement on the planet. You ask any nutritionist, fitness person, that is the one supplement everyone recommends. And again, for years it was thought, oh, you just take 5 grams a day, you gotta preload or all that stuff. Actually, they're finding out is that no, you see benefits up to 25 grams a day. So I'm going 20 grams right now, and it feels great. Like college football, you can play 4 games before you can't redshirt. Yeah, exactly. I stayed up to 1 a.m. watching Oregon State, Hawaii. Might need some creatine. That's right, dude. That's what I do. That's why I was I'm going to try this because, I do on the weekend, I do my streams to 11:30 at night. And then if one of my kids wakes up or something, you're getting sporadic sleep when they're that young. You may get, sometimes sleep through the night. Nobody wakes up, whatever, but it's usually not great. So if I'm going to sleep at midnight or later by the time I fall asleep, and then I wake up at 6:45 or 7, usually I don't feel too good in the morning. Is that true? I thought it was if you step foot on the field, you automatically can't redshirt. We can double check, but that was what it was when I played. Okay, you're right, Canes. If you step on the field, if you play in a game, you can't be redshirted, but you can file for a hardship. And again, like you guys know, we've talked about, you can get that redshirt year filed. So it's the official ruling is, step on the field once, but outside of, even if you do that, a lot of people file for to be able to get the red shirt already, and it ends up working out for them. So it's kind of it's a gray area with how it gets enforced. If the college baseball tournament expands, how many best of 2 of 3 rounds would it be before Omaha? It would be 1, 2, 3. It would be 3. It would be 3. And because this is the way I've been explained, or I've seen it explained, Zach, is what you would have is you would, and don't quote me on the numbers, but you would have an extra round prior to your typical regional round, and basically that would be your bottom, however many extra teams are in the tournament, that would be their play-in against the bottom seeds. And so again, like you'd have to add a few extra teams to the tournament, and then your top seeds, like your hosts of regionals, would get like a bye to the second round, and then it would be the exact same. So it'd just be one extra round from what I've seen, and that would, again, it wouldn't be doubling 64. It wouldn't go to like 128 teams. It would go, from what I saw, um, it would be something like 16 extra teams or 12 extra teams. I think Mike Rooney made a post about it, talked about it, and that was the way he explained it. And that's what he would like to see happen. Again, I totally agree, because the regional format is just very, you don't play in that kind of format at all year. And it really if you want to see more mid-majors make it to Omaha, you make it best of 3 game series instead of a regional, because the regional format heavily favors your ACC, your SEC teams, because they just have way more depth than the other teams out there. So I think it helps with competitive parity. You would see more mid majors. Again, are you going to see like half the field in the College World Series being mid majors? Probably not, but maybe you see 2 instead of none. So that's what I would love to see that happen. Creatine can cause massive cramping in game for some athletes. Be careful. That's Cap. That's actually been debunked. So basically, that was told to me when I was coming up in high school and in college, that creatine can cause like soft tissue injuries and cause you to cramp. The reality is that happens because the vast majority of high school and college athletes are dehydrated. So when you're dehydrated, your muscles don't have access to enough water, and when they try to fire, they're way more likely to pull or cramp and stuff like that. So I can promise you, like if you're taking creatine, but you're drinking a half gallon of water a day or a gallon of water a day, you're never going to cramp up. And you're also, supplementing that with a decent, like a 2 or 3 pinches of salt, so your body can absorb the water better. What a lot of people do is they hydrate, they drink a lot of water, but they don't have any sodium in their system, and sodium helps you kind of hold the water inside your muscles. So, but creatine always gets a bad rep for that, because like the vast majority of high school players or high school athletes who are serious are taking creatine, and then they cramp up, and it's like, well, no, you're not. You don't have enough sodium in you don't have enough electrolytes in your system, and you don't have enough water, so you're going to cramp. Zach, no one on our team can get a red shirt currently. Even a guy like Amari De Jesus, who played 1 game, can't redshirt. Luca Reyes, who went to Gloucester D2 and is killing it, was able to keep his redshirt because he was injured all of last season. Yeah, so what a lot of those guys do is they've played a few games, and then essentially, like, just so you guys know, I mean, if a coach knows, hey, you're probably not going to play much the rest of the year, they can kind of be like, oh yeah, he was hurt. You know what I mean? And kind of game the system that way. Like, that doesn't happen a whole lot, but it does happen. I feel like the best of 3 is best way to determine the best team, and it's easier on college pitchers. Yeah, like the regional, 100%. There's so much to like about moving to just all 3 game series. One, it just makes it's going to make the mid majors way more competitive. The regional format, like I said, if you're not in the winners bracket side, to win the regional, you have to play 5 games in like 4 days, which is insane. And again, so like when you talk about how do you, why are mid majors not making it to the College World Series anymore? It's because, well, the SEC and the ACC have gotten a lot better and a lot deeper, but the regional format is just really tough. Again, for any team to win, let alone the mid majors, because they don't have the depth, which again makes sense. So I think the best of 3 is just the best way to go. There are very Do you use StreamYard to do your streams? No, I use Restream. I'll look into StreamYard though. Luka did not play one game. I don't know what happened with him really. I think he still wants to come back if he could. He's batting like 380 in D2. If you have you heard of LSU Unis? They won the D2 JUCO World Series last year. They moved to D1 this year and are 54-3. Yeah, we have a I know them really. Yeah, we know them really well. Actually, it's funny. We have a former player at LSU, Shreveport, I believe. And like, just listen to these numbers for their team. LSU Shreveport is 51-0. 51-0. So yeah, pretty hilarious. When's your next playoff round? Tomorrow. That's when it is, tomorrow. They are so good. Yeah, they're really good. All right, let's look at some of these matchups. Can I please just get these ads? Like, these ads are killing me, man. All right, here we go. All right, so obviously Clemson, Coastal Carolina. You want to talk about hosting / national seed ramifications? A lot of eyes going to be on this Clemson Coastal Carolina game. I mean, it'd be crazy, but if Coastal finishes really strong, they beat Clemson, they finish really strong, and let's say they win the Sun Belt. Holy cow, they could be a national seed. They're NAIA, Zach. But I mean, Coastal Carolina could potentially be a number one or a national seed. What's up? How about them Razorbacks? Yeah, dominated, man, dominated. I may go check them out at LSU Shreveport. That's where my office is there in Bossier. Oh wow, nice. Yeah, I guess Shreveport's probably not too far from you, Coog. Are you in Louisiana? I know you're a Houston fan. Why is Texas still number one? I'll explain that in a second. Essentially, well, actually, let's just go to it. You know, whatever. We'll swap over to it for a second. I'll explain why they're number one. I think you guys will all. I think it makes sense. Like, you know, I disagree with some of D1 baseball stuff. Any chance Coastal Carolina can win their second natty this year? Do they have enough pitching? Let's just go look, man. And we'll check out Coastal's roster and just give you an idea of kind of what the pitching looks like and just the team in general. But heck of a year for Kevin Schnall at Coastal Carolina. I mean, he's really just he's taken over for Gary Gilmore and just like it's like nothing changed, you know. So I mean, that was a great decision by Coastal Carolina and the administration. Yeah, so we'll talk about them in a second. Let's just look at the top 25 here. All right. So the reason Texas did not drop is a lot of these teams underneath them at the time did not like Florida State came up from 5-2. LSU lost this weekend against A&M, so they dropped. So they couldn't, like, if LSU had beaten A&M, they'd probably take over the number 1 spot. North Carolina went 2-0, and they stayed at 4. Oregon was at 6, moved up. Georgia was at 9, moved up. Arkansas was 11, moved up. Auburn was at 10, moved up to 8. Clemson was at 3. They lost the series. So what you saw is that the two teams behind them, LSU and Clemson, both lost their series. North Carolina had kind of obviously like a 2-0 week. Games got messed up. So even though Texas got swept, the logic behind it is that was their first SEC loss in SEC play all year. Series play, and the other teams below them that would have taken over the number 1 spot lost their series, so they didn't move. Any Coastal Carolina? Any chance? Let me see. Where did you guys go? Any chance Coastal Carolina can win their second natty this year? Do they have enough pitching? Oh, yeah, we'll look at that in a second. I live in Houston, but my office is in Bossier. I do Bossier, I don't know. I do a rotation back and forth. Okay. Any chance we beat Aggies tonight? I mean, yeah. I will say they're playing pretty well right now, but the offense didn't do much against LSU. Their pitching just shut down LSU too. So there was not a lot of offense in that series. I saw Coastal Carolina recruiting coordinator at a GC game. They grind on the road. Yeah, that's what they have to do. Studies are conflicting regarding creatine and muscle cramping. Do you have a source I could check out? Yeah, so I mean, a lot of studies, Cap, just so you know, are completely just like non-viable in terms of like the results that they find, because if you're not controlling for, again, how hydrated the athlete is, how many electrolytes they're intaking, like you could say, well, 65% of players on creatine cramped up versus 30% without creatine. But it's like, all right, well, what was the hydration levels of each player? Did they each drink the same amount of water? Did they have the same electrolyte level? Also, each human being is different. So creatine, or like a certain hydration level for a certain player, may not be enough. A certain electrolyte level for a certain player may not be enough. I could send you some stuff, some of the recent stuff that's come out. But again, creatine is widely considered the greatest supplement on planet Earth. So I'll just say it like that. Make sure you hydrate, but it's not the number one. And could it possibly contribute to muscle cramping? Sure, but I'll tell you what. I took creatine as a football player, baseball player in high school every day, and I never cramped up because I drank a bunch of water, pickle juice before the game, salt, and I was fine. Remember we said if Clemson lost that series, D1 baseball would drop them far, but losing 20-9 the last game hurt them. It's not even that. Arkansas has lost 3 straight series before sweeping Texas. Yeah. But even Arkansas, again, it's the SEC. Like, Tennessee's lost 4 out of the last 5 series, but they're still a really good team. And again, that's Texas' first loss in SEC play, like in a series. Clemson should have won the first game. Yeah, I mean, they definitely could have won it, 100%. Makes sense. I was coaching high school baseball this weekend, so I am kind of behind with the college baseball world. Yeah. Tennessee is still the best team in the country, pound for pound. Yeah, I think, listen, how they've played in the SEC ultimately doesn't matter. That team in the NCAA tournament is probably a super regional team at minimum, and nobody's going to want to play them in a 3-game series in a super regional. So I think you're right, John. I mean, are they the best team in the country pound for pound? They definitely are in that conversation, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I think, like I said earlier, hmm, as I eat my sandwich, every team is going to go through a stretch at some point in the year. Arkansas lost 3 straight series. They sweep Texas. Tennessee has lost 4 out of 5 series. They are now 15th in the country, even though they're still 37-11. Clemson has lost 2 straight series in ACC play. They got swept, and they lost 2 out of 3 to Florida State. So everyone's going to have that. Everyone's going to have that. And again, it's just a question of, do they get going at the right time? Do they get going at the right time when the tournament starts? And I think Tennessee is one of those teams that, man, if they get hot, they literally can just beat anybody, right? They can beat anybody if they're playing well. They just seem to be, again, I think they're just going through like a little lull right now. But if there's anything you can depend on, is that Tony Vitello, Josh Elander, Frank Anderson, and those guys, Luke Bonfield, are going to get the team turned around. But that's just the SEC, man. The SEC is just utter gauntlet. It's an utter gauntlet. I mean, look at Auburn's season this year. They'll win a series, they'll lose a series, they'll sweep a series, they'll get swept. Like, the SEC is just like, unless you're playing Missouri, every series is a complete grind. Do you know what Coach Vitello was mad about versus Auburn? Yeah, I think it was. I mean, the home plate umpire, from watching the video, the home plate umpire was really bad, from what I could see. And then the home plate umpire was very unprofessional. Again, I get it. You get frustrated at coaches. You know, I'm sure Tennessee was chirping him from the dugout. But again, that happens. The umpire was making a call, and then he would look to the dugout and then look back. And then he would call strike, look to Tennessee's dugout. So, I mean, it was bad on both sides, but I think he just kind of finally had enough and went out and kind of ripped every single umpire he saw. Can you give a quick synopsis of who gives the rankings? Who gives the rankings? This is D1 Baseball's top 25. So, like, you know, writers, college baseball writers that go across the country watching teams, and it's just kind of their opinions. Again, I disagree with some of their. I think that D1 Baseball this year is undervaluing a lot of like the middle of the pack ACC teams. Like Miami's not ranked still. They've won like 11 straight games in ACC play. They swept Georgia Tech when Georgia Tech was top 15. They swept NC State this past weekend, or they would have swept them. They went 2-0 with the rain out, which is brutal. I think Miami should have scheduled it earlier. They should have done something with weather coming, but you know how it is in South Florida. Sometimes you don't even know it's coming and just pops up. But I think Miami should be in the top 25. Georgia Tech's not in the top 25. There's a lot of teams in the ACC that just seem to be very undervalued by D1 Baseball. And then Oregon State is just kind of propped up for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know how Oregon State has as high an RPI as they have. It makes no sense. Or 26, they said on their podcast. Yeah, again, but it's ridiculous. 100% looking that way, Canes. If you're a 1 seed, who would you want least in your regional? Florida, Miami, Mississippi State, or Wake Forest? I would have to go with Florida or Miami. I would say Miami, just because Miami has 3 starting pitchers that are really good. And that's, again, that's like one thing you don't want to deal with is a team that has a lot of good arms. You're spot on. My experience is athletes underhydrated on creatine are at risk of cramping, for sure. USC is number 25. We're number 26. Yeah, I think USC has played really well, but I just think, man, like Miami, the last 4 weeks is just surging. I don't know how And I get it. They had to do that to be a consideration for ranking, but I don't know how they're not still ranked in the top 25. Like if they're, and I'm not saying they need to be, Dusty's saying top 15. I'm saying like number 21 or number 19. I think that's where they're at. But certainly they're, I mean, they're playing ridiculous right now. No disrespect, but you can't have Troy or Southern Miss over Miami or Georgia Tech ranked. Yeah, I mean, listen, I have no problem with Troy's been really consistent all year, and Southern Miss has been really consistent all year, and so I have no problem with them being ranked. I think it's when you get down to near the bottom. It's just a lot of teams that, again, and I get it. The SEC is really good, but it seems like in the SEC, you can be basically 500 in conference play and you're a top 25 team. They haven't lost in like a month. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's Miami's. I don't know how Miami's not in it, but if they rank Miami, they would have to rank UConn and Florida. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. They would not. They would not. Because Miami's a different team than the team that lost to Florida, lost to UConn. It's a different starting rotation, everything. Kyle, if Georgia Tech plays Troy 10 times, they beat them 8 or 9 times. But you don't want to hear that because of your infatuation with Meade. I don't disagree, dude. I'm just saying, like, they play in the Sun Belt. They've done very well in the Sun Belt. I have no problem with them being ranked. Nobody's talking about Northeastern. Yeah, Northeastern's really good too. Got a new pitch for you. The chitter. Splitting, by the way, your middle and ring finger. Estrada on the Padres throws it. The chitter. Don't get Dusty started, man. The chitter. It's like a change-up splitter. Like, that's what a splitter is most of the time. It's just a variation of a change-up. When does the Georgia high school baseball playoff start? Maryland's tournament starts in a couple days. We're in the third round right now, White House. We're in the Elite Eight. Dusty, my God, I saw that earlier. Where does it end? It makes me nauseous. UTSA and Northeastern could also be ranked. Yeah, I mean, like, again, there's a lot of those teams, but let's say if there's like 4 or 5 teams that are they all could be ranked, I think you have to go with an ACC team or an SEC team because they're playing a tougher schedule. That's just the reality of it. Looking at Coastal Carolina's team, offensively, they're hitting 281. They've scored 356 runs in 48 games. So offensively, they're decent. You know, they're kind of right at 7.5 runs per game, which is solid. They have 48 home runs in 48 games. 90 doubles. So across the board, for offensively, they're solid. Their pitching staff is throwing to a 3.47. They're not striking out a lot of guys. They have like 425 strikeouts and 412 innings, but they only have 153 walks and 350 hits given up. So it's kind of right at like a 1.2-ish whip. Who is going to Mississippi State, Kyle? What's the grapevine telling you? I will say what we heard today from a very, very, very credible source is Rob Vaughn is the front runner. And who knows? I mean, but that's what I'm hearing now, and what one of our guys is hearing and knows the guy. You know, a source that is very, very plugged in. Used the words basically a done deal. So I don't know, but who knows? But that's what I mean. I think again, you're talking. I think D1 baseball's list is pretty accurate. Like, you know, the Mingiones, Rob Vaughn, Brian O'Connor, Rob Vaughn. That's a whatever hire. I mean, say what you want, but I think Alabama is seen at least in the SEC as one of the harder places to win. Justin LeBron to Miami, yes. Yes, take him, Mississippi State. Miami better extend JD. I agree, man. I don't know what they're waiting for. That thing better be in writing before this weekend. I don't think like I know Canes and Zach kind of joke about, oh, we don't want JD get the Mississippi State job. I don't think JD is a fit at Mississippi State. I think they're going to go for someone that's got ties there, everything like that. There's so many coaches in the SEC that were a former assistant, like Mingione, Butch Thompson, um, a lot of guys. So I just think they're going to go with someone like that. Only a year at Bama, yeah. I mean, that's what. Again, that could be wrong, but that's just everything I've heard is Mingione. The dark horse, like if they're going to go the assistant route, it's Elander, and then Rob Bond. Those are the three names that I've heard the most. So who knows? We'll have to just wait and see. Skylar Meade to Alabama? Potentially, man. Potentially. Bond doesn't have a connection to Mississippi State, right? If Bama likes him enough, yeah, and you never know because a lot of these coaches, guys, like they use these hiring cycles to get down the line with a team, and then they go to their AD at their current school and say, "Hey, like they're offering me this. Can you make me an offer that makes me want to stay?" And they do that. So it could be like a lot of coaches do that. LeBron would probably follow him. Yeah, probably. JD would never leave Miami. The Yankees can offer him to be the head coach, and he would turn it down. Manager. In professional baseball, it's the manager, Canes. I know he doesn't really have a connection to Mississippi State, Buck. If Bama likes him enough, they'll take care of it. No shortage of money. Yeah, I mean, you're not right. It's just a question. Like, they should, right? They should, because Alabama's actually playing really well now. We are the Yankees to JD. Yeah. All right, guys, I got to cut it. I got to head out now. We actually have an earlier practice than normal today because a lot of the guys have like a half day. So I'll be back tomorrow with the stream. Shorter stream. Probably going to have to start it a little bit earlier tomorrow as well because we got the third round of the playoffs starting. Thanks for joining everything. I really appreciate you guys doing this every day, chatting with me. It's part of the day I look forward to the most. So I really appreciate you guys always coming in here and being consistent and helping me build this channel up. But I got to head to practice. So